Sounds good to me. Hi.
Hello.
I'm sorry. I guess, why don't we begin by you telling me about yourself? I mean, I know nothing about you other than your name.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Because anyway, tell me about your background, where you're from, and how what your love for music began when, and what you do, and what your principal instrument is, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm from Lodi, Wisconsin. It's a smaller town. It's about 20 minutes north of Madison. Let's see. I grew up going to the First Lutheran Church there. ELCA affiliated. It's actually not in existence anymore. They dissolved that congregation and sold that church just due to a lot of different circumstances. But they reformed it into it's called Common Ground Church. It's kind of a bit of a micro church movement is the general premise behind it. I'm actually on the council. I'm the secretary. So
and what is the Common Ground Church as opposed to what was it previously?
It was First Lutheran.
What's the difference between First Lutheran and Common Ground?
I mean, Common Ground, our mission statement is something along the lines of like finding a common ground to center ourselves in Christ, and is more accessible, I guess, is a big thing that we've been trying to work on. Having the gospel message be more accessible to more people, and more centered in the Holy Spirit, I think, is a big thing in comparison to the two. That was kind of part of our proposal for the Siebert grant that we actually got, which was nice. In terms of music,
what was your goal in your grant, and did you achieve it?
Yeah, so the grant, it's, if I remember correctly, it's I think kind of a 3-year process. This first year, a lot of the money that we asked for was going to kind of go toward more like structural kind of stuff with staffing. We're looking to hire an administrative assistant, and then actually kind of a worship music coordinator, someone to help with that. I think we have
for salary.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what this like first is kind of about. I'd have to look at the proposal again to remember the specifics going forward in the next, I think, 2 years, but it was very nice to see that the Siebert Foundation did approve our grant and kind of have that validation that, you know, what we're doing is kind of going places.
Oh, sure. We're in the grants game here too, at least when we do a special project. Just as a footnote, we I don't know how many years ago it was, we do an annual mission trip with the youth, and we've been working down on the border between Texas and Mexico, and the colonia. You know what a colonia is? Have you ever heard of that? A colonia is well, it's an unincorporated village on the border, primarily with people living in it from across the river, from across the Rio Grande, who are not legal. There's usually no running water. There's no sewers. There is usually electricity, but not in most homes, because most homes are just like huts. And so we've worked with them. The colonia is El Cenizo is the one we've been working with. And El Cenizo, that's the Texas sage plant. That's what it is. Or it means cinders, but that's what it really identifies as, because it's a desert plant that we grow. In fact, it's out in front of our church as you come to it. And we, after years of working with them and doing day school, or you know, and outreach and door-to-door kind of stuff, all they had was a double wide trailer, which was in pretty poor shape. So we fixed that up for a bit, and they were growing. They had a husband and wife pastor. They were wonderful, And so we decided to build them a church. And so we raised over $100,000 and built them a building. And they now have a full tilt boogie going on.
Wow.
So they're really they're the sort of like the life center of this little colony. So, but a lot of that was grant money.
Yeah.
And so we're used to that. And plus my one of my previous incarnations was a grant writer. So, but we did that. So I fully appreciate what you're saying about, yay, we got the money. So Common Ground, does it meet at First English, or is it like in a pub or in a bar or in a restaurant?
So yeah, we have, there's an office building kind of on Main Street in Lodi, but where we actually meet for services, which we do, it's one service at 9:30 on Sundays. We have like a community center, it's called Reach Out Lodi. So we meet there, and then they also live stream the service on Facebook for people who.
I'll have, tell me how to find that so I can watch y'all.
Yeah,
and,
no.
And is it on YouTube, so it's available? Is it recorded, or is it just live stream?
I don't know if they put it on YouTube. I know for sure it's on Facebook. If you look up, I think Common Ground Church, Lodi, Wisconsin, it should pop up.
I got you. So yeah, okay. So it's on Facebook live streams.
Yeah,
because we use Facebook live stream here for Bible studies and things like that. But we live stream our services on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I will find out about that. Good. Now back to you. I'm sorry. So
no,
if you don't mind being a conversation. So tell me. So you come from this little town in Wisconsin. You grew up Lutheran. And what do your parents do, or are they still alive?
No, yes, they are. They both work at the UW hospital. I think my mother works in receiving, and my dad, gosh, I don't remember exactly what he does. To be quite honest,
but they both work at a hospital.
Yes, yeah. Prior to that, they both worked at the Walgreens distribution center in a town called Windsor. I think they both worked in receiving then. But I think.
And where did you start your music studies? And tell me about that and what you're doing now and what your principal instruments or secondary instruments are and all that.
Yeah. So I started in 6th grade with like band. I didn't get into choir, which I'm a vocalist. That's my main instrument now. But I didn't get into choir until actually sophomore year of high school. But yeah, starting then I still did band, but I also started doing choir, and that became more of my central focus. So coming into Luther, I'm been part of various choral ensembles. First year we were in, it's now called Norse Choir, but it was Norseman back then. And then my sophomore year, cathedral choir. Now the past 2 years I've been in collegiate chorale. I'm the bass 2 section leader.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, thank you. And I obviously take private lessons. I have a scholarship for that.
Super. So. And what did you play in band, if I may ask?
I played oboe, and then I also picked up saxophone for the marching band and jazz band.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you still play your oboe?
I do not. It's been quite a few years. I haven't really done it since high school.
Okay, that's good enough. And so then you decided in this process that you wanted to live your life as a musician, which of course is totally insane and hardly profitable, but certainly rewarding in other ways.
Yeah, I came into Luther thinking like choral music ed, but I changed. I still have the music major, obviously, but it's technically like an unofficial study plan, but it's church music. So
they have a church. Is the degree like a bachelor's in church music or music education with a focus in church music, or what is it?
I have to remember. I don't remember if it says anything about church music on my degree. I know it'll say like a bachelor's in the arts in music for sure.
Okay.
But I don't know if it'll specifically recognize that I chose like the supplemental study plan of church music.
Oh, okay. All right. And
sorry, go ahead.
no. And so what do you do at Common Ground right now? I mean, as far as music is concerned, do you lead the music at Common Ground, or?
I do not. No.
Are you participating in a parish someplace there doing music right now, or are you just sort of like being a student?
Mainly just being a student. I mean, sometimes our choirs do kind of go out to various churches and do performances for services. And we have like chapel services that we have to do sometimes as part of our choral ensembles.
Sure.
During the week.
At Luther, at the college.
Yes.
Okay. So do you do keyboards at all, or have you done composition? Have you done arranging?
Yeah, so I'm not very good at piano, but I can make my way around it.
Oh, well, that's good. And so you really haven't been involved in orchestrating or composing or that kind of thing?
No, not beyond like composition assignments from my theory classes.
At least you've done theory. How much theory and have you done? Music, what's it called? Theory and composition? No, just theory and composition. How much theory have you done?
Yeah, so theory, we have 4 sets of classes. I've done all of those. I don't really know how I guess theory 1 was pretty basic stuff.
Sure. Well,
but,
and
yeah,
and my focus is, my major is theory and composition.
Right. Okay.
So and I do compose, and the poor dears here have to put up with it. So, so it's been okay. I mean, they're used to me now. So what would you like to do? What did you have envisioned for your internship? First of all, how is the internship related to the university? Is it that everyone in all their classes have to do an internship someplace, or is it like suggested, or is it required, or is it just something you want to do?
It's like kind of a choice in terms of a requirement. So we have 2 required J terms that we have to do. Our first is just like taking one our freshman year. But then our second one is supposed to be kind of like an experiential one. So where I have to continue with music education, though that would have been covered. I have my first one in terms of like a very basic practicum my first year here. And then my second J-term experience would have been covered in my junior year practicum that I would have done, which would have been a bit more involved in terms of actually doing student teaching, not in the full capacity, but for that kind of 3 weeks. But since I shifted out of education, I had to find kind of a different way to fulfill that requirement, and internship is one of those options.
All right. So it's a practicum. And you said 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks or 4 weeks for the whole month, or just 3 weeks? Beginning day, ending day.
Yes. So it's J-term this year goes from the 3rd to the 26th, I believe.
Okay. And you're going to stay with your parents, is that correct?
I'll be with my cousin, Chad Nelson.
It's your cousin. I keep thinking it's your daddy. No.
No.
It's your cousin, right? Super. Nick, who's the pastor at that church, was one of our interns here. We trained him. That's why he's doing so well. No, we have had, oh God, what, 30 years of interns. We're one of the major sites for clerical interns. So we're used to the whole idea of interns. But now, so what would you like to get from, or what are your expectations of the internship that you want to do?
I suppose getting a more deep dive into kind of like the whole planning process of how we're looking to like plan for a worship service. We had a little bit of it in one of my classes this past spring. It was called Music, Worship, and Culture. We had 2 groups. One of us planned like a matins service in terms of like music and stuff. And then I think the other group planned a Compline prayer service, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But so we had a little bit of that, but I think kind of getting a more deep dive into that. And I looked at the Calvary site a little bit. I noticed you did kind of like you have little short videos on like the hymns of the day.
Yeah,
I don't know how far in advance you make those or plan them out, but
I make them. We started that because during the COVID to keep communication. During that whole time, for almost a year and a half, the choir rehearsed via Zoom.
Yeah.
Debbie, who you met, was at her house on her piano, and all the choir members populated the Zoom screen. And then I would say, everybody mute, and everybody would mute except for Debbie. And then she would play. And then so each individual chorister could sing along at whatever speed their connection was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't cacophony, it was just,
for sure.
But it kept, most important thing was it kept us seeing and relating to each other. Because one of the great casualties of the pandemic, it seems to me, has been the loss of fellowship and connection. And so we did that. Now we're back to rehearsals now, and we are singing. And we just did that. So the planning, what we have historically done, but this of course is no longer the case as far as since the pandemic, is that the two clergy, two full-time pastors, and the intern, Debbie and I get together, sit around a round table and look at the lessons for the coming Sundays and choose the hymns. That's basically it. The liturgies are basically set. We hardly ever touch them. But I think it's because our liturgies are so innovative anyway. I mean, we've already been doing a lot of things that people don't do, but we haven't done that in a while because of the pandemic. So what we're doing right now is we're calling up what we did 3 years ago, which were the result of sitting around a table and choosing those hymns for those lessons. And so that's what we're doing right now. I don't know if that'll be the case still in January or not. If not, you can sit around that table with us and commiserate. And what we usually do, if we come across a hymn that we don't know, Debbie or I will play it on the piano and we'll try singing it. And basically it's if Pastor Phil, who's the older pastor, can't sing it, then we don't do it. or if we all find it a stumbling block.
Yeah.
The primary concern is it singable?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Is it singable? Not how beautiful the composition might be or how interesting the chordal structure might be. Because we are assuming that the words have been cleared by the theologians, or that wouldn't be in any of our resources.
Yeah.
And if we go outside of our resources, then we do look at the theology of it. But so what happened was, another way to keep in touch with the people was I decided to do a little history of the hymn of the day. And that was fun. A lot of research and a lot of big learning curve to learn how to do the videos and all that.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it, and I really did enjoy it. Right now we're getting to repetitions because like this coming Sunday is, I don't know if you know Bernadette Farrell. She's a Benedictine nun who composes gorgeous stuff. And it's, what is it? Longing for, Longing for Light, which is for Advent 1. And it'll be it'll be the hymn of the day. And I think, I don't know, I have to go back and look at what I've done. And if I've already done it, then what I do is I bring it down, edit it, and put it back up. But so, yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do that. And the people certainly have, I've gotten comments of people liking it. So.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really innovative way to kind of engage.
Exactly. So one, I guess, to tell you who we are. Oh wait, where do you? Let me get back to my questions. These are just all in my head. I don't have anything written down. What do you see for yourself when you graduate? What do you work? What is your job, your work, ideally going to be when after you graduate?
It would probably be something, obviously, kind of like music director kind of role. I would ideally kind of be somewhere where, just due to my, obviously it's a skill I can work on and become better at, but just due to my skills at the piano being not as high, perhaps finding a place where there is someone who kind of already fills that role, like an organist or something.
Right.
I have to think about whether or not I'm wanting to pursue any kind of like postgraduate studies and where I would maybe do that.
Sure.
I think I have a religion minor too as well, in addition to like the music major. I would probably focus.
What's your minor?
Religion.
Oh, religion. Okay.
Yes.
So that makes sense. Maybe you should go seminary and get your master's in church music.
Yeah.
If that would be ideal. So you have experience conducting or directing. You're obviously leading as a section leader.
Yeah.
Or would you like that experience?
No, I think that would be very fun. I just have like the basic kind of introduction to conducting course that I taken. So obviously
super duper.
I have the ability to do so.
Well, good. No, I mean, we'll certainly make use of it. So I had thought in terms of, how are you technologically? How astute are you with techno stuff? One of the things we're thinking about is we have basically how-to books that we've created for almost everything under the sun, because operating as Mary Reichenbach, who's our webmaster, said, in case a truck hits us. And one of the things we don't have presently is a step-by-step guidebook on live streaming and broadcasting. And because there's different parts to that. First of all, there's us choosing the music and all that.
Yeah.
Second is it has to go up to the website, which is go out from the website. And the third part is the actual recording and all the microphones and broadcasting from the sound booth in the sanctuary.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different shooting match. So this basic components, but how does that all work together? In fact, we were just talking about it this morning because we have never live streamed our Thanksgiving service before on Wednesday night. And we're going to do that this year for the first time. Well, that's coordinating with the sound and tech people who are all volunteers. It should eventually, like Debbie and I were talking this morning, eventually I think we need to get that to be a paid position. But for right now, it's volunteers, coordinating with them, and then with Mary, who's the webmaster, and with the office for doing the bulletins and all that stuff. So it'd be nice as a little project for you if you would like to take that on, to create the book. I don't think it'd be that complicated, but you could talk to all those players, learn what they do, put a little book together about this is how you do live streaming in case anyone gets hit by a truck.
No, yeah, I think that would be great.
Does that sound interesting to you? Yeah. Okay. Not only that, it would equip you for wherever you do end up with a lot of technological knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, that's great. The other thing I had imagined you helping with rehearsals. We have the little kids meet with Debbie on Wednesday nights.
Okay.
The 4th, 5th, and 6th graders meet with me and another volunteer, Michael Ann Wood, who has her master's degree, I think, from TCU in voice. And she helps with them. They're wonderful. They sing beautifully. It's nearly all boys, which is interesting.
Yeah, no.
And then there's this big gap in our program, which is the youth.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're so busy doing everything else that they don't do music, which is sad. Some of them after or in high school come on and sing with the sanctuary choir, which is nice.
Mhm.
But so then there's the seat of the sanctuary choir, which is the grown-up choir, if you will, high school through on the verge of the grave. And they're very good. They have a beautiful sound. They're very talented. And you know, you never know how many people you're going to have, or from year to year, and more importantly, from Sunday to Sunday. That's just the way it is. You know, we don't have the luxury of paid section leaders, which some churches do have. We don't have that. So that's the choral part, singing part of it. And then we have ensembles. We have a handbell choir, which is very good as well. We have a harp group. In fact, Christmas Eve we'll have a harp septet, 7 harps playing Christmas Eve. Now they don't usually play. We usually have a duo playing. We have a full orchestra with every instrument.
Oh my.
Well, we have the only instrument we're missing right now is cello, but we have violins, violas, string bass, sax, clarinet, bass clarinet, full brass ensemble, including euphonium and French horns and trombones and trumpets, and a brilliant percussionist, timpanist. In fact, he has his master's degree in percussion, and he teaches percussion in the school districts. And then our lead trumpet player is a band director. Our second trumpeter is a band director. Our lead clarinet is a high school band director. Let me just think about this. Anyway, there's a lot of talented people. And we use the orchestra for high feast days.
Okay, yeah.
So theoretically, unfortunately, there's not a big break between Christmas and Epiphany this year. So that theoretically, we would have the orchestra on the first Sunday of January, which I think is the 2nd. Is that correct? Let me look at the diary.
Yes, I believe so.
So we would move Epiphany from that day we would normally move Epiphany to the following Sunday. But the following Sunday is baptism. Well, that's another feast day. So I'm not sure yet if we're going to do both Epiphany and baptism, but we'll definitely do baptism of our Lord. And the orchestra and choir will both be involved in those services. Normally, they do all 3 morning sanctuary services.
Okay, yeah.
We also have a 4th service on Sunday morning, which is in the gym, which is a guitar mass for kids. So we have 4 services on Sunday morning: 8, 9:30, 10:30, and 11.
Okay, yeah.
And we also occasionally, we used to do it every Sunday, but we only do it occasionally now, have an evening Taizé service, which is lots of candles and silence, repetitive chanting and that kind of thing, which is also another nice thing to do. So then we also have a service on Sunday evenings at 5 o'clock in a bar downtown, which is called Kyrie Pub Church. And so I'm sure I'll get you involved in that as well. So that's basically our worship life. For all the services are liturgical.
Okay.
There are different music for the liturgies. 8 and 11 are basically the same, but 9:30, we choose a opening song from worship and praise type stuff, and then the liturgy is a little more jazzy, a little more, it's not like the other services necessarily. The other hymns, which is the hymn of the day, the 2 communion hymns, and the lead closing hymn, or basically we hardly ever change those. They're the same for all the services. The 9:30 group, we might jazz it up a bit, depending on the song. But that's fundamentally the way we do it. And it seems that everyone seems to be very happy with that. So we have not bothered learning new liturgies. I mean, I know there's dozens of them out there, but like the 9:30 is we put that together ourselves. We have chosen different Kyries, different hymns of praise. A lot of those come from the African American tradition or worship and praise tradition, and then the Sanctus and Agnus Dei post-communion canticle and that kind of thing are just things that we've selected over time, and we have a whole collection that we choose from, and we put that together. So I think that's basically it. You can check our website, and we live stream and broadcast the morning services, or you could go back and just look at the bulletins if you want to see what we're doing. And our main sort of quote unquote concert annually is Advent Vespers, which is coming up in 2 weeks. And that normally that's readings about Advent, hymns about Advent, and the whole thing is about light coming into darkness. Begins with a procession of fire. A big bowl of fire is carried down the sanctuary in a darkened sanctuary, while we chant in Aramaic, Maranatha. Anyway, usually that's what it is. This year I've changed it completely. The whole thing does have that fire coming in at the beginning, but the whole focus is on fear not.
Okay, yeah.
The message from Gabriel to Mary, first thing, and from any angel when an angel appears, fear not.
Yeah.
And that is a reflection of the pandemic. So the choir, instead of doing a whole bunch of Advent stuff and the orchestra and having the orchestra there, we're doing this year instead choral works like "Do Not Be Afraid," "You Are My Refuge," that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah.
And I've eliminated the orchestra because they, other than a violin and a flute and an oboe. So if the oboe is able to come, if not, we did do it with a flute. But it's keeping it very simple. In addition, we have a ballet. One of our pastors here, who is now taken on running Kyrie Pub Church and is the head chaplain at Children's Hospital here, is a ballet teacher and dancer. And she creates the choreography. In the past, we've always done a setting of the Magnificat that she's danced to, usually by Margaret Ritza, who I don't know is a wonderful contemporary British composer. But this year we're doing one of Ritza's pieces called "Enfold Me in Your Love."
Okay.
So she's creating a new ballet for this year. So I think that's about the extent of it. But at least you'll be here in time for orchestra and choir for that baptism Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about you willing to create the techno book, the guidebook.
It should be good. I think it'll be a good experience.
Yeah, well, and they're great people to work with. We do enjoy all of them. They're all good people. Calvary has been here since 1956. We're like a regional church because we're right on the major highways.
Okay.
So people come from far away, even far east, far southwest, to come here. And what else can I tell you? What are your questions?
Gosh.
Oh, by the way, our organ is new. We've had the organ for, I guess it's 2.5, maybe 3 years now. So
nice.
You can catch our dedication concert. It's up on YouTube too.
Oh, good.
So yeah, but it's I don't know. We have fun. We our hymnody, we do a full mixture. We choose things from This Far by Faith, Worship and Praise, ELW, the Hispanic songs. So it's a mixture, and African American as well. So I mean, like, it's people here are very open to innovation, at least in hymnody. They're not too open to changing the liturgy that much. Although if we do some major change, we introduce it to them slowly and surely. So
yeah, I know.
You don't have to drag them screaming and shouting. We're pretty conscientious about being friendly. I'm sure there's more to find out, but when will I see you? Or we'll be in touch. But
yeah,
I'll see you on the 3rd of January. Is that it?
Yes.
And that's a Monday?
Yes.
So we have staff meeting at 10:30 a.m.
Okay.
So that's when we would look for you, around 10 o'clock or so.
Sure.
On that Sunday. Hopefully, I don't know, that there's a problem with, they're tearing down a bridge right next to us. So they've completely disrupted the traffic flow around us, and it's a nightmare. So I would suggest you find alternate routes or whatever, who knows. It's just getting to us is not easy from up north. I think that's basically it.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure I've forgotten something. I should have made notes, but I'm just flying by the seat of my pants. And I'm going to share this recording with Debbie so she gets to hear you and see you. And I'm so happy you're a singer. We'll put you, we'll put you to use doing something. Okay. So gargle, get your voice ready. And you're a tenor.
No, I'm a bass.
Oh, you're a bass, baritone.
Yes.
Like you're a bass,
yeah.
But you sound like you're a tenor. Okay.
Yep.
That's okay. That'll make the tenors depressed, but that's all right. They can stand it. They're probably the strongest ensemble, strongest group in the choir. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna ring off now.
Alrighty. Oh, it was great connecting with you.
Yeah, it was nice to see you and to learn about you somewhat, and look forward to having you here for the month of January.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.